with you here. My first question is about math. This is from my friend who's a mathematician. What does mathematics look like in your civilization? And what is the most interesting theorem about whole numbers and number theory that you are aware of?
Mathematics in our civilization is expressed as geometry, not equations that use numbers. So the idea, for example, is you have a principle that is expressed by an equation that you cannot observe the position or the momentum of a particle at the same time. You either measure the position, but then you don't know how fast it's moving because it's frozen, or you measure the momentum, but then you can't measure the position because it's moving. We express that as a geometric tetrahedral form, four-sided pyramid of equilateral triangles. You have the base triangle, which represents position, what you would call the XYZ of position, and therefore, because it's one triangle, you can measure the position. Whereas the apex of the tetrahedron represents the time factor, the momentum factor, and since it's not connected to the base, you can't have the momentum at the same time that you measure the position. But then if you measure the momentum, your momentum is then measured by the apex, and 2 points of the side equilateral triangle, so you don't have the entire position, but you do have the entire momentum. So it's expressed as a tetrahedral structure geometrically. The idea of whole number theories, again, is that we work with different levels of infinities in certain ways that is not something that your humanity expresses at this time. So we're not sure how to translate that idea into what you are asking, because a lot of your mathematics shy away from the idea of infinities. But from our perspective, there are whole number infinities that are different from other whole number infinities.
Thank you so much. I hope my friend got it. I didn't. Thank you. Appreciate it. So the next question is from me. I have been reading a book I bought from Amazon about reincarnation. So it says the reincarnation system is a trap that we need to escape.
Nope. Not true. The idea, first and foremost, again, please remember, everything exists at the same time. All lives, all people, all exist at once. In much the same way, again, by simplistic analogy, you have a television program playing on one channel, but you have hundreds of other programs playing at the same time on other channels. You just don't see them because you're not tuned to that frequency. But when you change the channel, you get a different program. But all the programs are playing at the same time. So all people that have ever existed exist now, right now, side by side, all here, all now, on different frequencies. So reincarnation is an experience within the soul can create within itself, but the truth is, the mechanics of it is that all experiences exist all now. And what you're doing is you're connecting energetically to other people that exist right now that you may think of as the past, but are now existing, and you download information and experience from them to aid and assist you in this life, as they may be doing with you by downloading information from your life to aid and assist them. But the way, from linear time perspective, you interpret that connection is as a memory. Oh, I remember being that person. It means you're simply tapping into that person. But from the linear perspective, you treat it as a memory because you think in terms of past, present, and future. So it's not a trap. It's something that is dynamically changing all the time. And when you die and go back into spirit, when you wake up into spirit, you are always given a choice as to what to experience next. So there's no such thing as a reincarnational trap. There's no such thing as a soul trap. Just examine all the experiences and all the reports that people have given of near-death experiences when they go into the spirit realm and come back. Not one single one of them has ever said anything about their soul being trapped.
Thank you. Can I ask one more personal question?
Well, that was a question. Do you want to ask another question?
Yes.
You don't have to ask if you can ask a question. I guarantee if it's not appropriate, I'll tell you.
I appreciate that. So I'm a software developer, and I'm pretty good at it. However, I'm confused about if I'm passionate about it or not.
All right.
So when I am doing that, like the coding, debugging stuff, I really enjoy it. However, I have a huge trouble to start doing the thing, and I have other things that I really enjoy. I'm 100% sure I'm passionate about, which I never had a problem to even start to do. But for my job, I have always wait till the last minute when I have to do it. But once I start,
you're saying that you prefer the creative pressure of shortening the amount of time in which you need to do something.
That's part of it, I think.
That can be a valid technique as long as it works for you and doesn't stress you out.
It does, a lot.
All right. Is there another way you could be going about doing something, about starting something? Was it about starting that slows you down?
I don't know.
Maybe you need to go about doing it a different way than the way you're doing it. Maybe you just don't prefer the way in which those kinds of things are traditionally started. Maybe you need to start a different way. Maybe you need to ask someone else to start it and then you can jump in.
Okay. So, but does that mean I do have passion about doing the thing, which means coding, like my job?
Well, yes, but you may be defining the idea of a start in a dispassionate way. That's what I'm saying. It's about your definition of the thing. Maybe there is either another way you could be doing it that would be more passionate for you, or you can change the way you think about starting, so you may already simply have a definition about the idea of starting something that isn't representative of passion when it could be, if you would change the way you think about what starting something means to you. So it's either you need to clear up your definition about what it means to start, or you need to do something about starting in a different way than you've been doing it that is more representative of your passion. One of the two.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Good day. Speak up, speak up.
Hello? Hi. There are countless stories of people, even devout Muslims, having profound experiences of Jesus, leading them to convert. At the same time, there are also demon-related experiences, particularly within the industries like music, where the idea of selling one's souls for fame persists. Based on the concept of a soul's journey by Michael Newton, which suggests, much like you, that we choose our human experiences from the soul plane. How do the figures of Jesus and Satan fit into this framework? If we all originate from the soul plane, what power or force underpins the concepts of Satan? And how do we reconcile the existence and experiences of Jesus if Satan isn't real, or vice versa? Where does faith fit into all of this?
Knowingness fits. I understand what you're calling faith, but you don't really need faith if you understand how things work. You just know how they work. The idea of Jesus and Satan fit in as archetypal symbolic representations energetically of the idea that the universe is a polarity between love and fear. And that's it. It represents love and it represents fear. Because fear is the opposite of love, not hate. Fear is the opposite of love, in the sense that you feel disconnected from source. So the idea of Satan is just an embodiment in human consciousness as an archetypal form that represents the absence of the experience of unconditional love, which is the vibration of existence itself. And love is representative of the vibration of existence itself. So Satan is the idea of the rejection of existence, which can't happen, because you can't cease to exist, from fear, and the idea of Jesus is the symbolic representation, and Krishna and Buddha and all of those ascended masters representative of the idea of being in harmonic association with the vibration of existence itself. Does that explain it to you?
Yes, but like, where does the force, like, I mean, again, if you look at people that believe in like demons or Satan or anything, where does that force or that power come from if we all
It comes through them from Source, because Source doesn't care which way you go, because Source is unconditional. You understand the meaning of that word unconditional?
Yes.
Well, if you understand the meaning of the word unconditional and understand that it's about love and fear, then you understand that polarity is part of existence. And therefore, Source doesn't really have an opinion as to which way you go, because it's all capable of giving you lessons. Remember that when you return to your soul, you are in a state of balance, and you know, and you learn lessons from every experience that you've had. Whether you spent time in physical reality believing in demons and Satan and experiencing fear, when you go back into your soul state, your true state, your natural state, you understand why you may have done that, how it may have served others, playing off of you, and all sorts of things. It's like playing a role that allows polarity to be played out so the souls can grow and expand based on those lessons, based on those concepts of the play between love and fear.
Okay, one more, please. What key questions can I ask myself to better understand the root of my reactions towards others, especially in frustrating situations like dealing with inconsiderate drivers? And how can I align more deeply with the trait of patience towards them and others in similar situations?
Do you have frustration with young children who you know don't know any better yet?
Not really.
Then take that attitude toward those drivers. They are like young children who haven't learned that everything is an orchestration and can serve a positive purpose, who are simply out of fear and out of the sense of disconnection and out of a sense that they are not getting what fulfills them, are thrashing and lashing out and reacting in negative ways because they feel disconnected. So have compassion for them to understand that they simply need to learn how to connect more to their flow so they can flow and understand that they are part of a big orchestration that is serving humanity in a variety of ways. And if you take that attitude, you will then look at them in the same way that you would look at a young child who is simply just learning how to thrive in physical reality. You wouldn't think of them as any less, and you wouldn't be frustrated by them, because you know they still have something to learn. They still have a ways to go. So open your heart and treat them with compassion. All right?
Fair enough. Thank you so much for your insights.
And if you do curse at them, forgive yourself.
Of the transformation on your planet, the rate of acceleration, and the different gradients within it. As we now approach what we have, and many others have, labeled as the threshold crossing, your year of 2012, where the leading edge of your consciousness will have reached critical mass. And in crossing that threshold, then from that point forward, can allow more opportunity for positive creation to occur. We will, having said that, discuss in finer detail what we mean by this wave of energy that reaches critical mass, and the different gradients that go along in it, and the consequences of existing in each of those gradients, so that you can see more clearly, and you can choose more clearly, if you wish to, how to ride the front leading edge of that transformational consciousness wave, instead of simply bobbing up and down in some of the eddies and currents that follow along in its wake. Because that's what a lot of you are doing. Just bobbing around in the currents in the wake of the leading edge of the consciousness wave. But you can ride the leading edge if you wish. So, in that context, we will explain how to ride that wave. Surf's up. Now, all the things we have said, all the things we will say, all the things we are saying, come together now, in this moment, in this transmission. And once again, we thank you for the opportunity to share this perspective with you. We now ask you, if you wish, to open up to sharing and more direct interaction with what you call your questions and discussions, if you wish.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good. I don't know which question I need to ask.
Oh, well, then sit down.
Let's see. So if you think that there's nothing outside that can affect us, is that true?
There is no outside for anything to come from. There is only within. Everything that you experience occurs within your consciousness. You understand that?
Okay.
There is nothing outside. There is no outside for anything to be in. There is nothing outside your consciousness.
Everything is in my consciousness.
Everything.
Within. Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
The only way you can have an experience of any kind is if you create that experience within your consciousness.
Like, for example,
Yes.
nature.
Nature.
Yeah, when I'm in nature, I
Yes.
feel good.
Yes.
Why is that?
Did she really ask that question? All right. Why is that?
Well, if nothing...
When I say there is nothing outside, I don't mean in the colloquial sense that there's nothing outside the building. Nature, however, to answer your question more directly, is by its very definition more in tune with the frequency of your natural self.
Right.
Therefore, you feel good because you are using nature as a permission slip to allow yourself to be more in touch with your natural vibration. And that always feels really good.
What I think, okay, I got it, but then how about anything negative outside? When I feel bad, something happens outside.
When you feel bad, it's because you believe that your relationship to that circumstance is defined in a negative way. Redefine your relationship to the circumstance, and you will not feel bad. I am not saying to ignore the feeling. You must acknowledge the feeling. All right, I feel bad. Why? What would I have to believe is true about my relationship to this situation in order for me to have this feeling? Because remember, all emotions, without exception, all emotions, all feelings only exist because there is a belief that exists first. You cannot have a feeling without having a definition or a belief first. So if you have a bad feeling, all right, acknowledge it. All right, I've got a bad feeling. So what? Now, I ask myself, do I prefer this feeling? Well, no. I would prefer something else. I would prefer to feel joyful. All right. So let me ask myself, why did I have this bad feeling? What brought this about? Well, I know that feelings come from beliefs. Oh, all right. So, what kind of a belief, the question goes, would I have to have about my relationship to the situation in order for me to have a bad feeling about it? That's how you begin the process of self-investigation and finding out what the definition is. And in finding out what the definition is and identifying it, you can then find out why you had it. And when you find out why you had it, you can let that go and change it for something else you would prefer as a belief. And when you change it for a belief you would prefer, then that belief will generate a feeling that you prefer, which will also generate thoughts that you prefer, which will also generate behavior that you prefer.
I tried that. I know you taught us that, but it's not that easy.
That's a belief.
Okay.
You see? So now the question is, why do I have a belief that says it's not that easy? You see, that's the next step. You can always take the question to the next level. If you find that you have tried it one way, as you say, and it doesn't seem to be working for you, look at the essence of what you're actually saying. What's the result? All right, the result that you're feeling is, this is difficult. It's not that easy. Very good. You've now arrived at another place where you have something to work with. So acknowledge it. All right, I acknowledge that I have a feeling it's difficult. I have a feeling it's not that easy. That must mean what? I have a belief that it's not easy. Why do I have that belief? And you can start the investigation again and keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that until you truly find the true fundamental foundational underlying belief that is generating all the other secondary level beliefs.
I think it's not a belief but an experience.
No. Your experience comes from your belief. I understand that you have experience in physical reality, and you can say, well, that happened to me, and so that's why I feel this way. But you see, you are simply putting, as you say, euphemistically, the cart before the horse. The way you've been taught to look at reality is making you think that that comes from the experience. But in fact, the experience first came from the belief. Now, once you have the experience may reinforce the belief, but it doesn't generate the belief. The belief generates the experience, which then by definition strengthens the belief, because all beliefs must, by definition, contain an element, a component that is a self-generating, self-fulfilling aspect. If beliefs did not make it seem as if no other beliefs were possible, you wouldn't be able to have that particular experience. So when you have a belief that generates an experience, the experience will then always have the capacity to reinforce the belief and make it seem to be the only thing that's true. But that's not true. You have to get to a point where you know it's not true, no matter how it feels, so that when something happens, you can recognize that the experience is not causing the belief, it's just reinforcing the belief. And that therefore the experience can be used to put you in touch with the belief that generated the experience to begin with. You follow me?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I kind of.
I think so.
Yeah.
Work with that.
Okay, I have a problem when my husband tells me to do that.
Why do you have a problem with it? And why are you defining it as a problem?
Well, because it comes from outside. Not
There is no outside. All the things you choose to feel, you choose to feel. Anyone could come up to you and say anything. You could still laugh, you know.
That's what he said. Someone slaps, even if someone slaps in my head, I still have to choose how I feel, how I feel.
But the point is, you're choosing, which means it's under your control. So if you are choosing to feel bad, you have to ask yourself, why would I choose that? And when you ask that kind of a question, it can put you in touch with the belief that makes you think that that's your only choice, when in fact you have many choices of how to feel and how to believe. So you have to find out why you're choosing what you're choosing. Up to you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
And we appreciate you as well. But the point is, you must learn to appreciate yourself more.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. And are there any other questions?
What is enlightenment?
One moment. What happened to good day and hello?
Good day and hello.
Thank you.
This is my first time hearing you in person.
Oh, all right. It is our first time hearing you as well. Enlightenment, in the most simplest possible way I can state it, is simply the willingness to lighten up. All you have to do is lighten up on yourself, raise your frequency by doing so, and you will have a broader perspective that allows you to see that everything is connected, that everything is one, and it is fundamentally to answer your question in the most direct way possible, fundamentally, this attribute, the ability to recognize everything as one and apply that recognition in your life, that constitutes the experience most people on your planet refer to as enlightenment. Does that answer your question?
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you.